purpose-driven progress. As always, I am your host, Jacob Hicks, and today I am stoked about the guest that I've got coming on. Today, I'm bringing on Joli Phillips, the mastermind behind Best Buckin Jerky. You heard that right. Joli's journey from weekly date nights with her husband to creating an environmentally conscious jerky brand is nothing short of inspiring. Combining incredible culinary skills with a mission to support women's education, STEM, and community organizations, Joli has built a purpose-driven business that's not only delicious, but also impactful. Joli, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. So, kind of walk us through it. So, how did you go from, being, going on date nights with your chef husband to being in the culinary world to, doing jerky? Did you just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to do jerky? All right.
I think it was a few things, right? As best inventions are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. We started out as, well, thank you, first of all, for letting me be on here. I just want to say that.
Love to have you.
Appreciate it so much. But like you said, we definitely started out with a weekly date night. My husband and I met in the culinary world. I was an event coordinator and designer, and he's a chef. So we would do a weekly dinner, and in our 20s, looking for the best, but also affordable. So we would go to this bar, the bar in a restaurant called Roaring Fork in downtown Austin. And we would sit at the bar because that's, in my opinion, the best people watching and the best service, right?
Agreed.
Like, talk about the food and learn about the alcohol and the cocktails that they serve. So they had this fantastic Sunday $5 burger. It was amazing. And we would go and we'd sit at the bar. And they would get out this beef jerky that was just complimentary on the bar for the guests. And we were like, wow, this is really good. I also, just a little backstory, like that's my family go-to snack on the road. We also do all the other little fun treats, but as a family, when we would go skiing or whatever, we would always have beef jerky. So, my husband would call it the beef jerky tax.
All right, love it.
So anyway, those two things kind of combined, we started thinking about it, and I was like, this is something that like I want to do, make this beef jerky because I have hypoglycemia. I'm always trying to watch my protein intake. And so we were like, okay, well, how can we make this like better? And I'm a saucy gal. So everyone was like, okay, I'm going to just take this thin jerky. That was kind of the key element. It was like really nice and thin. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to create something that tastes really good. So that's where I came to like, okay, I want to eat this. I want to make something that I want to eat. I wanted to have the sauces that I love. And then came the name. So we had Best Buckin Jerky. And I was like, oh, this is a great name. But I always saw this bucking, like the cowboy on, horse or something. And so, but when it came to it, when I actually started working on the branding, which you see behind me, I've got the different iterations of how it went. I was like, I think it's me. I'm doing the company and I'm celebrating women and supporting women. So why not put me on it? So it's me, but it's my grandmother's shirt. Here I have a package. It's my grandmother's shirt.
Love it.
It's my grandfather's buffalo nickel belt buckle that would be I wear today. Shirt.
I love it. I'm a huge fan of the name. Like that's so much fun. That's so much fun. So can you kind of walk? All right, I'm going to be honest with you here for a second. So I love beef jerky as much as the next guy. I was a road warrior for a long time in sales. So I've eaten more than probably my fair share of beef jerky, but I know next to nothing about how it's made. I know it's beef, I think mostly, but beyond like what's the process? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question. Well, there's a couple different ways you can do it, right? If you're going to do it, and this is what I learned really quickly, If you're going to do it at home and it's something for you, you can easily do it in the oven, or if you want to buy like Cabela's, dehydrator,
Yeah.
super simple. There is an element of risk because you're creating at such a low temperature for a long time, and it's beef, right? So you're dehydrating it versus just cooking it.
Yeah.
So and you want it to last longer, right? So you want it to be more shelf stable, or even after. Ours is like after you open it, refrigerate it, it's best, but you can leave it out. I never get through
Doesn't last that long.
the beef jerky last. So I always eat the whole bag. So, there's that. But so what we ended up doing was we found a company that I really loved. I actually like their beef sticks. The name of the company is called Projects. And they were one of ours on that route that I was talking about. When we would travel, we would have to stop and get their beef jerky from a specific place. So I just called them. They're the nicest people. They're here in Texas. And I literally just called them and I said, hey, can I talk to the person in charge? Like, how do I do this? And we had a commercial kitchen. We owned a restaurant called Base Camp Deli. And so I called him and I said, how do I do it? And he said, why don't you come by? So we went, and I don't know how many football fields, because it's all sports ball to me, but like football fields, like factory. That was amazing. And so when you do it and you're wanting to put it on a shelf, it has to be USDA certified. And to do that, you often have to have a USDA certified person on staff at all times when your operation. So we actually have them. Projects is our co-packer. They're amazing, great group of people over there. So they do all of that, what do they say? Like how the meat's made and how for that for us. So we actually come up with all the recipes and the way. So ours is very different. We are marinade only, hydration. There's no smoke on ours. So we're a different kind of jerky. And that's why the flavor comes really through, but you don't have all the preservatives. So
I love it. And that's why you got to refrigerate, right? Because there's not a bunch of preservative stuff in it.
Right. That's just
exact. Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. So tell me about the other side of it, because you got this incredible product, great jerky, right? But you're doing all this other stuff with, STEM and women's education and stuff. So, I mean, what's kind of the driving factor behind that? I mean, why? I mean, a lot of businesses don't do that. So why are you guys?
Yeah. So, good question. I think, one of the things is it's just kind of always been within me to try and give back. I was in the healing arts for years. My husband is in education. For years, he taught high school for 10 years in city schools in Denver, Houston, and Austin. And so part of my mission was that, I wanted to support something. And like I said, I had Base Camp Deli. So when we had Base Camp Deli, it was very environmentally driven. So we would do like as little plastic as possible. We didn't have plastic. We only had eco, made from corn syrup kind of things. And then everything was wrapped in paper. All the products that we had, we tried to create something that was environmentally sound, like Lipton tea. Most people don't even know this. They just like it. But they support Rainforest Alliance.
Oh, cool.
And so there was a company called Deep River Chips, and I love them. And each of their bags, they're different flavors, different colors. And on the back, they'd show that they presented something that they would donate to. And a lot of it was like the Cancer Society or something like that. They were fond of as a family. There was something personal for them. And I loved it. And I thought, like, how can I do this? Like, how can I mimic it in a way, right? Like, but what? Like healthcare, environmental, ocean trees, like where, like it's all so much. And how can we do this to where it seems more streamlined? So, I have these two brilliant women at my side, and one of them is Catherine Nash, and she had a major role in young women's education. She is a nonprofit civic engagement leader, and she worked with Girl Start here in Texas. So our Chop House flavor, which is our cowgirl,
Yeah.
and the name coincides with where the word cowgirl is what ingredients where they originate. So cowgirl is our Texas, that's our
Hmm.
Chop House, and we get back to Girl Start, which is STEM for lower socioeconomic kiddos, young women specifically. And so that's the one that we decided to donate to for our Texas one. And then I had this other person that I'm delighted to have at my dinner table. Her name was Christine Walker. She worked in Indonesia developing sustainability planning for the capital city, and now is the sustainability team lead in Austin. And so she introduced me to Paul Hawken. And I'm going to read from this because it's a little wordy, but his statistics show that education for young women, who, by the way, are already working the farmland and may be the leader of their land and yet do not have access to the same resources. So if we can get access to institutional innovation and collective approaches designed for women smallholders, we can make a huge impact. So sourcing a piece of our population, a big piece, women, we can assume in Paul Hawken's findings that the yield per plot can rise 26%.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, right? Women managing 98 million acres receive equal assistance. Then we could achieve the gain of reducing 2.1 gigatons of carbon dioxide.
Wow.
By 2050.
That's a big deal.
Right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I get goosebumps. This is what the Japanese call the Ikigai, like your life purpose.
Okay.
And so that's where we partnered with our cockerel, which is cowgirl, like cockerel, is our Thai chili crisp. And we partnered with a company called Prathonity. And Prathonity takes girls from the countryside, brings them to the school in Bangkok, and teaches them so they can either have a better career or they can learn how to get those resources and funding in the countryside. So that they can start to be part of that population that gets those resources and makes decisions.
I love that. That's incredible. And it sounds like you are, I mean, not just, hey, we want to be, and conscious of the communities around us. And it's like, hey, we're going to give, a percentage of proceeds or whatever to some cause. But it sounds like you guys are really, really intentional with the causes you choose for each flavor, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a girl, another woman who's fantastic. She is an attorney for nonprofit organizations. She teaches people how to do nonprofits in the United States that are coming in from other countries. And so she helps me vet each one. She helps me vet Prathonity, and then we're looking currently for the woman supported education, some sort of schooling for Mexico.
Okay.
And that's our initiative is called Best Buckin Jerky, Buckin the System for Women Worldwide.
I love that so much. You guys have 3 flavors right now, right? So are there plans for like a broader, like more SKUs, do you think? Or are you going to stick with the 3 for now?
Well, I don't want to water it down too much, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can get kind of crazy with all of our, I have a chef husband and I traveled all over like Jamaica and Paris and, so it's like, I have all kinds of crazy ideas, but we will probably be opening up another one this year.
Exciting.
Yeah, and we're gonna go with a different meat. So our friends who don't really want beef, but they want a high protein snack, will be in their favor. So yeah.
I love it. Well, we'll stay tuned for the 4th exciting flavor with the 4th exciting charity. So I'm really curious. So being, a woman in business, I mean, what's been challenging, or has it just been smooth sailing, no problems?
Oh,
okay. I kind of thought not, but I want to make sure.
I mean, if you've done this before and this isn't your first rodeo, like, okay, yeah, I'm sure you walked right in and everything was great. But we are small funded,
Yeah. Right.
self-funded, I should say. And so the CPG consumer packaged goods
Mm.
arena is it's different. I mean, it's different than anything I'd ever done. And I've been in restaurants and catering, and I've been in all around the food industry.
Yeah.
Um, it was a lot different for us. I learn every day, which is fantastic. I love learning. Sometimes I wish it would, slow down for um, but so I thought, okay, here I am. I'm going to make this perfect trifecta, right? It's branding, it's got purpose, and it tastes really good without any
Hmm.
of those fillers or fullers.
Yep.
We call it all good, no bull.
Love it. I
Right.
love it.
Right. So I just thought, okay, that's going to be it. That'll be great. And it's going to be fine. And then
Hmm.
no, it's not. I mean, there's just so much you have to learn from distribution to just taking ingredients out, which is
Hmm.
interesting. So we actually have to, thankfully for our co-packers, they help us source things, but we have to look really deeply into those sources and kind of find out all the ingredients. I mean, they're like, oh, well, this is a derivative of a mushroom, but it's guantanolate or something, and you're like,
Yeah.
no, I don't,
Yeah.
no, we don't want that. That doesn't sound right to me. So for us with the all good noble piece, we had to actually ask them to make some chicken bouillon that was just specifically made for us in bulk.
Interesting. Okay.
So we had to pay for the chicken bouillon up front before we even do a run, which is crazy. But we just dealt with preservatives, and
Right.
I don't want to eat that, so I'm not going to sell it. So that's
I I love that so much because I mean I feel like the country is definitely I feel like moving towards a healthier version of itself and finding the snacks that we still know and love, but a properly vetted and healthy version is huge. So let me ask you. So if anybody listening at home is super inspired by your story and they're like hey, I want to go out and I want to try to create some jerky too. What are some of like the big like aha moments or like revelations that you've had on this journey so far?
yeah. I mean, definitely consider turkey because it's not like we had a commercial kitchen. So we
Mm,
were, oh, this is great, right? Like we'll just go at our own pace. We can make what we want. Again, farmer's market, you can do that.
yep.
If you want to just sell it to your friends, or you can do that. But if you want to be on a shelf, like a CPG, I would say the biggest revelation I had is like, it has to be done in the facility. And so you're
Mhm.
in a good portion of your money with that labor. And that's okay. Labor is the most expensive thing, as it
Right.
should be. We should pay people what they're worth, right? And they're the ones out there doing those things for us. So that's great. And they're making my products happen. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Um, then I would say your packaging is another piece. Like
Mm.
we went with a packaging company that works with projects, and they were great. They've been in business forever. However, we're not at the scale that that company is at, right?
Oh,
They're all over and we are not yet. So we had to kind of look at that and look at our costs and go a different route. So when we're at a lesser volume, that sounds kind of like anybody would think about this, but it's not one of the things I thought about.
mm.
That when you're a smaller volume, you're going to pay more per package, right?
Yeah.
You start to scale, you'll get that number down. So that's one of the things I would definitely consider. Um, this day and age, it's not about black and white anymore, right?
No.
The ink prices are the same. Not really, you're not. I had somebody say that, like, oh, your brand is so colorful and you're going to have so many. That's not something to worry about. Don't worry about that. Like, create the brand that you love and that really shines through for you. I think ours, we say it bucks
Mm.
off the shelf. So
Yep.
it jumps off the shelf, like it's woman owned, and you see it in the branding. So do that. Like if that's what your Ikigai or your purpose is, like make sure your brand fills you up
Yeah.
personally.
I mean, 100%. It's got to tie. I mean, I'm a really big, especially if you're on the entrepreneurial side of anything in any real capacity. I mean, you have to believe in what you're doing to a really high level. And if you don't, then I mean, when things get hard or tough or challenging, I mean, things can fall apart really easily,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So I mean, it sounds like from what you're telling me, it sounds like in terms of scaling, a business like this, there's kind of like built-in challenges almost where like, hey, I love what I'm doing, love what I'm making. I'm going to take it to a farmer's market. That's, one scale. And you're like, okay, well now I want to get into maybe a few like, regional, like local, gas stations or, retailers of some sort. That's another scale. And then it's like, all right, well now I need to get bigger. Now that's another scale. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. And we actually have a big distributor that is across the country, and
Mm.
they were very excited about our product.
Hmm.
And I was like, we just couldn't wait for the meeting. And they said, oh, we can't do it. And but the reason was, and I appreciate this, I honestly do, is you said, we just don't want to squash you.
Yes.
Because when you go too big, and you just can't keep up, even if you
Hmm.
have the backing, the funding, which we would love to have. So any angel investors out there, any CFOs who have the idea of how to get that streamlined, hit me up. But yeah, so they said, just like grow so slowly, like start coming back. So that's what we did. We
Mm.
actually, we're now going, we've been trying to get into some different grocery stores here in Texas. People might know because HEB kind of goes and does a lot of they give back a lot because they're privately owned.
Yeah.
They're not told what to do by their investors.
Mm.
So they give back across the nation, but they're Texas. So we're trying to get into smaller grocers like that. When I say smaller, I mean not nationwide, but
Yeah.
regional. And just kind of take that step back. We recently have gotten into an auberge hotel, which is
Oh,
fantastic.
that's super exciting.
And we were in the Kempton Hotel. So we're in different places, but we just kind of, we didn't want to put on britches that were too big for us.
Yes.
We want to stay alive. We don't want to be smart. So yeah, so that is right. There are different scales, and I would just say keep going. And like you said, that initiative that we have for the Buckin system for women worldwide. I love my product. I think it's amazing, and it tastes good, and it's all the things that I want. But that's the thing that keeps me going. That's why they call it Ikigai. It is the thing that wakes you up and gets you going in the morning. And that's really the heart behind it is what keeps me going, right?
I love that. I mean, I think you're absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head, honestly. Because I mean, finding your ikigai, right? Like the why, the purpose, the thing that you are meant to be doing. I feel like it's like a lifelong journey. It's never set in stone. It's always a little bit fluid, where things might be shifting a little bit here and there. I mean, what's your journey been like in finding that purpose?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think it was basically all of the elements that I was talking about before is
Mm.
that we were trying to figure out like how could we make an impact, but then not have it to where it felt so discombobulated with
Yeah.
our brand and our packaging and everything. And actually my husband's the one that came up with the idea that it should be the word for cowgirl in whatever the originate. So like we have the cara, which is for our Mexico flavor that
Hmm.
started from a salsa that's from northern Mexico. Um, anyway, so I think that's really it, is that we were trying to really hone in like, okay, how can we do what we're wanting to do? Be impactful, show our
Mm.
heart, but also like conscious consumption, right?
Yes.
And like really making that streamlined. And so that's where women's education grew into.
It's so I love I mean I feel like I've seen it a bunch, but I love what you're doing. I mean I'm a big fan of jerky anyway, but I mean I love that you are tying it back to something with a cause and a purpose and a good reason to buy, right? So let me ask you, so if somebody's listening at home and they are a jerky connoisseur or they just want to buy some jerky, or maybe they are these angels investors, or maybe some, more regional to Texas, grocers, and they want to reach out about a partnership. I mean, where can they find out more?
Yeah. So we're bestbuckinjerky.com. You can go there. You can go to our Instagram and slide into my DM all day long. We are it's just at Best Buckin Jerky. And you can also email me. I'm yeehaw@gmail.com.
Oh, that's so much. Well, Joli, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been fantastic. I love it so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I'm gonna send you some more jerky so that you can out.
I will eat it. So, but I said, if anybody's listening at home and they want to find more about Best Buckin Jerky or Joli, so I'll make sure to leave those links she mentioned in the show notes. And as always, thank you guys for listening. It really does mean the world to me and to us, my guests. And make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.